This week on Backyard Footy.
I was there for the 1 year. At the end of that, there was like really no clarity. I would like to say for everyone, but just speaking for myself, like I had a conversation, and it was like we don't know, we don't have a coach right now. We don't want to make any decisions as a club without having a coach, on players, which, that's fair enough.
Right.
Hang around.
Right.
We'll give you a shout. Time goes on, and you're not really getting that. You're not hearing anything, and it starts to creep in, like the anxiety creeps in and that doubt. So I was like, I gotta find something. Then I can't wait for them to hopefully decide they want me. If you don't know at this point, then maybe it's best I assess my other options.
What's up, footy fans? Your host, Hugh Roberts, aka Superhuman. It's great to be back for another edition, the last edition here in Monterey Bay FC with Grant Robinson, my boy from the DMV. We actually went to the same school together, George Mason University, but I'm a little older, so we actually didn't play together. But we grew up together, playing against each other, training with each other, knowing the same people, knowing the same circle. It's an honor to have my man. Just wanted to give you guys a special thank you for following along, tuning in, subscribing, and following in and commenting on these last series for this special edition to the Footy Documentary series. Got some more exciting things to get going this offseason. Thank you guys for all your support for the Footy Foundation as well. It's been much appreciated to see the love and comments and support. Make sure you guys pull up and donate all week and pull up for the foundation at the middle school in Salinas on Monday, October 31st. Tune in, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think for the last edition. And I got some more exciting episodes and more projects on the way. Talk to you soon, footy fans.
Yo, my guy. Appreciate you having me, fam. DMV team, they already know. We go way back. Let's tell everybody what your life's like out here in Monterey. What's the daily life in the Grant off the field?
Yeah, so daily life is pretty simple. I mean, I feel like it's, the same for a lot of us. Come in here, do my training. I got a couple close buddies on the team. I got Mobes and Murph, and we pretty much kick it for most of the day. Go to the gym later in the day, but yeah, I'm not really doing too much besides football at the moment. Yeah, just chilling and getting on like that.
This is your second year here. Would you say you feel a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It always takes time to build like a home for yourself kind of thing. So I think that's happening this year for sure. And, I'm comfortable in the area and I know the area better. So, yes, it's been good.
What's some of your top spots out here?
Ooh, whoa. All right, I'm going to go like a couple of like underground.
Yeah.
I don't even know who put me on. I want to shout him out, but this little Mexican place, Papa Chevos, we go there a lot. Dang, it's a tough one actually. Used to go to the spot Wakatobi. That used to be the spot, but the little lunch special.
It went up price-wise, right?
Yeah,
I cut that off myself too.
Had to drop off. But honestly, I don't really know if I have any other spots. Oh, yeah. I go to the little pokey restaurant right up here.
Sir.
Bro, I'm talking like 4 times a week.
Four times
now?
Check
that out.
Check that out. Seriously.
Every day. But yeah, in terms of restaurants, not too many. I'm still looking for, like one that I really call like my little spot. But
yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, bro. Wakatobi is top. There's actually a Vietnamese spot in Seaside. I think it's like full noodles or something. Put y'all on. Price-wise, even cheaper than Wakatobi, too. Lunch special is crazy. Lasts me all day. But yeah, bro, that pokey too, all that too. But I mean, the same old casual routine. Got the pup here with me too, so I'm outside a little bit more, bike rides, that kind of thing too. But now that I'm here for the second year, I feel a little bit more comfortable myself too. How's this season been for you though, personally?
Honestly, it's been like pretty rocky road, ups and downs. Came in just dealing with a little something, felt really good going into preseason. Picked up a little hamstring injury and just kind of like getting in my own way in terms of like trying to get back. Just don't want to miss games, don't want to miss time. So, I finally came back in, was feeling great. I think played like 8, 9 in a row on the bounce, and then other hamstring, gave up on me. So I'm actually, just getting back into the swing of things this week. So just, grateful to be on 2 feet again and back with the group kind of thing.
Man, it's been great to see you out here too, man. And I know just dealing with that is not easy. How do you get yourself up mentally when you're dealing through chronic injuries like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not my first one really, so kind of like know the protocol. I know how it goes. I know there's going to be good days, bad days, everything in between kind of thing. So I don't know. I mean, you gotta just keep going kind of thing, We're getting paid to do this, and this is something like I dreamed about doing when I was a kid. So even like the worst day when you're like, I'm hurt, I'm never going to come back, whatever it may be, it's like, you'll get through it kind of thing. So I mean, just trying to get up and keep going.
And reflecting on where you came from kind of too, you can get through some of these obstacles as well too. No, I definitely feel you. That's why I asked too, because we're all going to go through these battles as well too. I mean, not even just injuries, sometimes maybe a performance thing too, It's like, how do we keep ourselves on a consistent trend when we're not just fluctuating up and down too much too? Because that's really with this journey, especially on the mental side, you can be on the high one time and the low the next day. It's like, how do you find like a middle ground kind of thing too? So let's talk about your journey. How did you get here today?
Oh, yeah. So I had like the typical youth soccer kind of career. I played for the Bays, Baltimore Bays, way back when, and then they had their whole little split, and it was like high school, academy, you made your choice. So I played high school. I went to Loyola Blakefield.
Oh, you played high school, not academy?
I did, yeah. I played high school for 3 years, actually.
Wow.
So I was playing against McDonough and all them.
Yeah.
We were going
you're in a good league too, so like
it was pretty good. Similar to like the what is it?
WCAC.
Yeah, WCAC. It was similar to that, like good competition. And then I moved to DC United my senior year. I had been like kind of training with them prior to that, but I moved there my senior year and played out that year. And
what position are you playing too? Because I know it's not the same as now.
Yeah, I was a center mid, and then I went to DC and we played a 4-4-2, so I was pretty much anywhere in there. I was a left mid, a center mid, a right mid, just kind of whatever they were big on, like trying to mimic the first team in terms of style of play, all of that. And the first team at the time was like sort of direct. But it didn't, when you're young like that, it doesn't matter. So I had a great time. So I was there, and then in college You
got recruited?
Yeah, I did. So I was talking to a bunch of schools, but Mason was pretty much like the main one that was, on my radar, and they were kind of really pulling for me. And like just with my grades and everything at the time, that made the most sense, and I wanted to go make an impact somewhere. So I just was like, let's do it. And I had a buddy that was on my team growing up, so I had someone there already.
I make that,
you kind of know
that
people.
Matters,
Greg Andrulis at the time, the coach, was kind of connected with like the youth national teams, and all of that kind of was like a factor in like it drew me over there. They have obviously great facilities, and I love the experience, but that was kind of what got me there, and that's where I got my first taste of a little bit of left back, really.
In college when they put you on there.
Yeah, he put me out there just because he heard from someone else they want to see me at left back or whatever. So that's where I started it.
He did the same thing to me as well. I'm just cracking up. Like I was a striker my whole life.
Moved you on.
Then he moves me to center back. And it said the same similar things. Oh, Hugh, you look like you're decent, and why don't you give it a try? Do well. One preseason game against Georgetown, a wrap. The rest of my career.
Here you are. Yeah, I honestly didn't even stick there, because like I was naive. Like when you first go back there, there's like some rules of defending, and I didn't know that. I was
straight tack.
Yeah, pretty much. So I ended up going back to the middle, and I played in the middle the rest of my time at Mason. But yeah, that's pretty much my collegiate career.
Were you on the U20, U17 national team?
No, I went to one U18 camp and then U19s. So that's like, they didn't even have that for a while. They started that cycle, I guess, pretty much from my age group. And it was like fringe guys that might have an opportunity to go, to a U20s camp or whatever. I wasn't, one of those guys getting selected, but a couple guys ended up making it through, but it was still like a great experience.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Got to play a couple international games and tournaments, so it was fun, but yeah, definitely, a good experience I had.
That was during college, right? Or before?
So it was, yes, it kind of overlapped. So I would say going into senior year, I got my first camp call up, and then it was pretty much right when I moved to DC United, I started kind of getting called in. Yeah. And it's funny, they kind of say that, like, you got to make the move, the jump. And
seriously,
I was like stubborn. I didn't, you don't really, no way there. And it kind of was, I guess, that simple.
When I look back at it myself, sorry to cut you off, like,
no, you go ahead.
you really have to be in these MLS academies or some of these top academies just to get your opportunities to the first team or to national teams or anything like that. If you could be talented, but if you're not coming from a top club, you're under the radar kind of thing too.
Yeah,
I definitely feel that.
Radar. And I mean, yeah, it was definitely, it's tough for me to say. My club team was always like one of the better ones in the country, and once academy happened too, that really became, we were like standing out from most teams because we were kind of going against that grain. But I did like the academy. If it definitely gives you more of like a, maybe not professional environment, but there is a little bit of added pressure. There's new guys always coming in. You see the first team from time to time. So it was definitely a little bit of a change up, but in a good way.
Mm-hmm. So then did you get drafted?
No, I didn't get drafted. Undrafted, yeah.
How was that process after school?
Man, it was kind of like surreal. It was quick for me. Because I don't know, in my head I'd always like, it never even been a question like, are you gonna play professional? Like I didn't even really give it a thought what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
So when like the time came and I had pretty much like coasted through college kind of thing, I hadn't really like put too much thought into like exactly how to do it. And I remember thinking like, man, I don't really have too many, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I didn't know where I was gonna end up. And I was familiar with the USL, but I wasn't like, I didn't really know how it worked,
Same.
And that wasn't on my horizon. So, I just talking to my agent, and I was like, look, like whatever we got, like let's go with it. So I was like training with Loudon a little bit, just like a little one of their little combine camp things. And I knew obviously a bunch of those guys because Loudon didn't even form until I was like a sophomore in college. So I kind of missed that opportunity to, start there.
Right.
And, I never really got too much interest from them that would have made me, want to leave school and go. But, yeah, luckily, Eric Winalda was the coach of Las Vegas Lights. And he knows my agent. And he had heard of me, obviously, just from, like, the pool, national team pool. And, he kind of pulled me out there in Vegas and, like, maybe on a whim for him. You can't really speak to that, but looking back, it probably was a whim. First thing he was like, "What happened? What happened? How are you like?" And I was just like,
"What year was this?"
2019. 2019.
Okay.
That was my first year. And that's how it all started. I was actually on trial.
What, Vegas?
Yeah, the whole preseason.
Wow.
I'd signed like 5 days before the first game, kind of thing.
Wow. And even on trial, you still had confidence within yourself. Like this is,
like. The first week, I thought I went in. I was like, "Oh yeah, I got," and then kind of hit that. I had like a dip almost, where you're in your own head kind of thing, and it's like, man, they're just kind of dragging me along, maybe. But the more I like, that's just how it kind of goes. But I would say I had that confidence, but it really helped because I had a bunch of like good guys around me at that time. Like they made it easy to really like acclimate and not get too much in my own head kind of thing.
How was the first year for you? Was it like coming from college now to pros? Was it easy to adapt or was it?
Yeah, I don't think it was too hard. Like I said, I had a really good like group of people around me, and I was like comfortable in my own skin. But COVID had hit, so like pre-COVID, I'd say there was like 2 months of me being in Vegas between preseason and like the season just starting. Literally, I remember we played our first game and we had a game that Friday, home opener. Against Sac Republic, and like they just come in and you know how it was. They're like, yo, like league's done for a couple weeks. There's chit chat, like guys are talking about I'm taking this little vacation, I'm going here, I'm doing this.
Right.
Getting our days while we have them, and I just remember from there it was like boom. Next thing you know, I was home for like 2 months, just in quarantine. Me and like 5 of my buddies, and we were just kind of getting after it every day, training. I was still with Vegas,
or in Vegas.
They let me go home.
Okay.
I think they just because we weren't going to do anything so I actually got to go home for that period. I think a lot of guys stayed out, but
I
some
stayed
guys,
too.
So I went home and a couple of my buddies did the same thing, and we just were training and stuff. So that was like a big part of my, I would say, development right there. Just like me and my close friends, just being able to like wake up every day and just like let's train and be ready for when we come back type of thing.
Iron sharpens iron kind of thing, yeah.
100%.
How many years were you in Vegas?
Only that 1 year.
Oh, only 1 year?
Yeah, so I was there for the 1 year. At the end of that, there was like really no clarity. I would like to say for everyone, but just speaking for myself, like I had a conversation, you know, and it was like we don't know, we don't have a coach right now. We don't want to make any decisions as a club without having a coach, you know, on players, which, you know, I was like, that's fair enough.
Right.
Hang around.
Right.
We'll give you a shout. You know, time goes on, and you're not really getting that. You're not hearing anything, and it starts to creep in, like the anxiety creeps in and that doubt. So I was like, I gotta find something. Then I can't wait for them to hopefully decide they want me. You know, if you don't know at this point, then maybe it's best I assess my other options. Which, like I said, I had the COVID year, so I had 16 games under my belt.
If that, right.
Not a big portfolio to really work with, and we weren't great. You know what I mean?
In your first couple of years too, like
And teams don't. There's no after COVID. You know, money tightened up. Everything kind of. So I was like, man, I don't even know what's gonna happen. But I was fortunate to be able to connect with, like I said, my agent knows someone in the RGV staff. I don't think it was Wilmer. It was Jerson Echeverry. And, I got on the phone with him, and, you know, he knew one of my childhood mentors, and they had chatted. And, you know, I was like, all right, this is like a good ground to stand on kind of thing. So I just went out to RGV. And that was kind of like my first time being like culture shock kind of thing. Not just in the terms of, you know, location, but like I said, Vegas, there was like, I didn't necessarily know too many people, but I felt like I did as soon as I got there.
Right.
And RGV took a little bit of time, and I felt like I was a little bit more on my own in certain, aspects of it.
Yeah.
And it was a tough environment. Like Wilmer's a tough coach.
That's what I heard.
So
how are you dealing with this yourself? You're out there by yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
new environment, everything.
I made really good friends out there too. There's a good group of guys there too, and we were younger.
Yeah.
So we always hung out and everything, but. Yeah, like at the end of the day, it's like everyone for themselves. Because, you know, like there's no discrimination between, if you don't play well, if you're not doing this, it's tough to get in the team. So, you know, I found myself on the outside a lot there, and that was like eye-opening just to see like, this can happen. Because I would never have thought that of myself, you know, like I would be the guy that's not in the team, not playing, but I mean, that was who I was for a lot of the time there. So like you had to learn a lot about, do I want to do this type of thing? Like, is this for me and all that? So I'm grateful for that experience, really.
Those fringe moments right there is why a lot of the friends that we've known throughout our career don't persevere or even continue after like 2 or 3 years, because this is BS in this journey and this grind too. But it's in those moments right there where you decide like, okay, is this for me or not? And you know, a lot of those times you see the guys who are playing a little longer, they've made up their mind to do that, and you really have to have that mindset to do this, because you're not doing this really for the money. It's increased budget-wise to these clubs. It's really just about the opportunity and then the next step to wherever you want to go kind of thing, too.
100%. There was a lot of older players in the team, so it was good for me at least to, you know, you kind of see, like, maybe not the word, like, what it takes, you know, because I thought I kind of understood more just on a day-to-day how to operate, you know, when to speak out, when to keep your head down, how to move, really.
It's important. That's important.
Yeah.
Dudes lose contracts off attitude, anger, those emotional things like that. And a lot of times dudes also retain their contract just because they're real cool with the coach and have a good little personality. They come back a lot of these times too. So now you're on the right tip with that, man. So you were there for what, 2 years?
Nah, just one.
Just 1 year again?
1 year again. This is my 4th year, so this is
this is the longest you've been in the...
Yeah, I was one, and now 2 here.
Wow, I don't know why I thought it was 1, 2, 2. Oh.
Yeah.
I commend you even more, because that's not easy too. So you transition, RGV finishes, you're getting ready to come to Monterey. How did that whole process work?
Yeah, I mean, that was one. So kind of towards the end of the season, obviously Frank, I didn't mention this before, Frank had come in and taken over as the Vegas coach for Wijnaldum at a certain point during COVID. So I had Frank in Vegas for basically the whole season.
Crazy,
and that's where I met him.
Works.
And it was... I think that was good for me, just because, you know, he really pushed me and wanted me to play and helped me play, even in maybe moments where I was like, man, I shouldn't be playing. Like, you know, he threw me out there, like, and I mean, that kind of gave me a platform. So I felt like I had a good rapport with him, and I'd heard about this team coming out here, obviously.
You did hear about it the year before?
Yeah, I heard about it, but I didn't really.
I didn't hear nothing.
I didn't like look. You know, I didn't really. Like I said, I wasn't really shopping around or anything. So someone had mentioned that he had a project, and I really didn't even like. It didn't even cross my mind. And then he had hit me up, just checking in. How you doing? Da da da. You know, saw you were playing. You're not playing, injured, whatever it is. And you know, we just kind of kept in touch. And towards the end of the year, you know, kind of got serious in terms of, hey, like I have this project. Would you be interested? And I was jumping at the bit because,
right.
like I said, by then at that point in the season, I was lucky to get in the team.
Right.
If I was gonna get in, you know what I mean. Right. So I was like, yeah, and you know, a fresh start, probably just what I need. And I had trust in Frank.
Frank
and
did well too. I
just knew him as a person. To know that, like, okay, you know, I'll be in good hands, kind of thing. Yeah. So that was kind of like, it's just a blessing. Kind of came out of nowhere, and I got an opportunity to come out here and really just, you know, nail on, you know, my spot as a professional, really. Because prior to that, I guess you know, I could have easily just dropped out, you know. So it's kind of taken this just to feel like, all right, you know, I belong here. I'm here for the long haul type of thing. So,
or even go to a club with a different coach than Frank too. I mean, you had a good rapport with him, had a little history. He's trusted you as well. You go to a different coach, it just takes a couple months for him to trust you, and then you know you have to find your stripes. But all those little things matter as well too in terms of comfortability for yourself and your career. You know, having someone that already knows you, and even when you're dealing with injuries now, I'm sure it also gives you a peace of mind that you know him and he knows you. Where it's like, okay, he knows when I get back to my stuff who I am. I don't have to maybe even push myself or extend myself too much. Like, he's got me, I got you kind of thing. So those things give an ease of mind for us as players too, man. We don't even think about them things sometimes.
Yeah, nah, 100%. 100%. It's a whole different game when you kind of trust the staff, and, you know, just everyone has your best interests. You know, even guys on the team. You know, I feel like I can't say about all my, not to say that anyone had bad intentions. I don't think that at all. But I feel like here it's like, you know, I'm closer to more guys on this team than I probably was in my other teams.
100%.
And I'm comfortable, you know, sharing stuff with them and vice versa. I hope they feel the same. So, you know, it's kind of where
it matters. Yeah. We'll talk about last year, kind of just second half of the year, how we've got on our streak, everything kind of finishing, and talk about the differences coming into this year. Obviously, we're 3 or 4 months in, but how the 2 years have been for you.
Yeah, I mean, last year, I think the first part of the year, you probably can agree, it was like a blur almost, you know, between like not having the stadium, just travel and just taking, you know, beatings week to week. It was kind of a blur. And I remember looking at Murph specifically, just like, dude, like, are we going to get one this year? Like, what are we doing, you know? But I think once we came to that first home opener, and like the fans were all around, I finally felt, I was like, okay. Yeah. This, I'm sure you felt that too, because you've been around long to feel what it feels like. That's
what I signed up for, man.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, all right, now we're here. So, I mean, once that happened, I think I would consider that it wasn't the start of our season, but really I felt like it was.
Same way, yeah.
It was like a second chance. Like, let's show, like, we're not, you know, this bottom feeder team. Like, you know, we can compete with these guys. So, I don't know, man. It was great. Like, it was great. Every game, I can think back, you know, just like fighting for guys and guys fighting for me, and it was a lot of fun. And I thought that by the end of it, I think while it was happening, we didn't, you know, think anything of it, but by the end, I thought we almost felt like we let ourselves down, like in a good way, you know, like we could have done more.
Right, I see what you're
saying.
And
I think there was a point in the year earlier where we would have been, if you would have showed us how that season went, we would have taken that in that exact moment.
Yeah, that's true.
When it ended, I thought, you know, we were all like, man, game win here, win this there. We would have been in the playoffs. We could have made a run. So, yeah, it was one of those ones where there's a lot to be desired, but it was good. You know, we come back with a little chip on our shoulder.
What you're saying. Yeah, and it brought everybody back for this year as well, too, right? Maybe we didn't have all these guys come back if we had a little bit more success into that, too. I see exactly what you're saying.
How did you feel about that?
Yeah, man, honestly, it was a whole whirlwind that whole first, 2 months. But, you know, honestly, I feel like those moments as well kind of, we needed to go through that to honestly bring us to this year, because I guess it was some BS, but like you said, we didn't have a good job and we didn't finish our job properly that season, so we all came back with unfinished business for this year. Then because of last year through all the BS, we know who we are now, identity-wise a little bit. We know what we can overcome because of last year now, and that's unspoken too. We don't talk about it too much, but we know if we lose a game or two, it's like, okay, back on our stuff. We know our streak's coming as well. We know how good we can go on our shutout streak as well, but that was all because of last year. And the last year was like a good framework for us coming into this year and even like the following year as well too, because of the groundwork we put in last year too. I definitely agree with that. So coming into this year, how was it? What was your mindset coming into this year, and how has this year been for you as well?
Yeah, I mean, coming into this year, I just speaking to a couple guys in the off season, but mainly I was just like I gotta get it, show that because I feel like we all started showing as a team so many great things, and I was like, that just made me want to up my game. Like I want to show that I can do this, I can do that. So I had a lot of expectations for myself, really, individually, and I thought. I still think I think it's showing we're starting to that we can really do something. I'm sure every team thinks that, but I really believe it. And yeah, I mean, I think the expectations are rightfully high, just because, like you said, we know each other, and we know that when we really are putting our heads together and are really working hard, we could do it. So that's kind of where my head was at. I was just excited to get back, kind of thing, and yeah, I'm still, like I said, I'm coming back again off a little injury, so I'm just buzzing to be back and part of it. And I can feel the teams we're rolling right now. So it's just a good time for me to try and get back in.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Are you doing something different last year than this year in terms of your injuries? Obviously, we talked about some of the injuries from last year. This year's kind of been unfortunate the same way. With the mindset from last year, experience-wise, is there anything a little bit different this year?
I wouldn't say so. No. I mean, probably taking a little bit better care of myself, just in terms of really keeping up with the exercises every day, trying to do it, trying to just know. I know how I feel when I feel it. But I mean, just kind of trusting that I am doing the right stuff. So I'm trying not to think about that too much. Because you know how it is. Once you start getting in your head, am I doing the right thing here? Am I doing it there?
Trust, man.
It's an impossible battle. There's no right answer.
Yeah.
So you just gotta kind of have faith.
You versus you in this world,
Yeah, 100%.
You have any advice and aspirations for kids who are trying to be like you?
Ooh, yeah. If you wanna do this, if you wanna be a professional, at any level, really, because everyone, when you're a little kid, you shoot, I want to play for Man United, I want to play for Real Madrid, Liverpool, I want to play for all the big, whatever it is, but it takes, all the hard work and a little bit of luck and, just everything. So you got to really want it. So I just encourage anyone who really wants to be a professional to just go for it.
Yeah.
Because you're only going to get one real opportunity, because age is going to hit you eventually. So yeah, if you want to do it, you just got to commit and do all the extras you think you need to do, or you know what I mean? Just don't sell yourself short, kind of thing. Just really give it everything. Right,
and you guys heard him. You heard his whole story too, all the obstacles he's overcame and persevered as well too, and that's something we all can hang our hat on and use as motivation to get to where we want to do. So, appreciate you, my guy. Dope ass show, my guy. Yes, sir. Subscribe to my guy. DM him. Reach out to him. Subscribe to us and stay tuned. Appreciate you guys. Sir, my guy. Appreciate you.
Love, yeah. Appreciate it.
Mad love.